Hello, this last part will show you viewers that you don't always have to listen to someone who is claiming something. They have a theory and so on. There was some time that you had to take your time to get to realize a couple of new starting points before you can start to do that yourself. It takes a little bit time. So what I was talking about was that every letter it is possible for each letter that you use it as a kind of echolocalization in time and space, so that you can pinpoint as quickly as possible what each letter is about and then play with it. And that's what we're going to do today, playing, and you will be able to play along. So finally, you will be able to do something yourself and not just listen to someone who is where it is not always easy to see where it comes from. And you don't have to accept that. That's not the kind of attitude of someone who is giving you something new. It is also, you have to find it yourself. So here you have the opportunity to find the echo-localizations yourself. And I will have a very good example for that. I will have a word which you can also interpret yourself, find yourself. I have the word of balance. And I use the Dutch version of it because it's quite funny that you also have two other words that you can find there. It's BAL or BAL and lands or lands, which is very similar to English, and together it has a balance, and it seems to be a completely different word, but it works with the references and combining the references in time and space. And you know, this is a full theory. This is my last thing that I gave to you. And that's how the echo-localization of letters works. How you pinpoint letters. You pinpoint them in space. These first 9 letters are like that. Or if that's not possible and they move a little bit, okay, you start to follow the movement, and then you pinpoint the same kind of references in time. Or you will find them as a context. And I explained that quite well. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but here you have the positions. But I will explain you the example well, and how that works, and how you can combine these things yourself. So we have the examples of BAL lands and BAL lands. So let's go with BAL or BAL. So we have the letters. It's just use the scheme. Use it as something technical that is like with numbers. They are in the right numerical order, and they are there. And so you have to accept, sorry for that, the 3 regions, space, time, and the contextual working frame, let's say. So the spatial frame, the time frame, the working frame. That's something you need to accept. You also need to accept first region. Is then the localization, the next one is the growth or the changes, and the last one is then the borders and the limits. That's also something which is logical, and that's actually all you need to know, and then you have to play with it. So where do you have BAL? So I already told you the spatial frame, the physical frame is working very well on the first level, on the low level. There you can see the localize the things well. The next level, where the L and the B is actually not very close by, so there is already a little bit further away, so you have to compromise there a little bit. You're not very sure if it's 100% the same starting point of view, but there is another starting point. So that's a little bit further away, the starting point, where there is already a growth, a change, something going on. It's that green part. There is the second degree is something that is changed, something that is changing, so it's forming. So that's the area where we have. So where do we start there, and what kind of letters do we have? All the letters are in the physical frame. But of course, the physical frame, it's relative, because you have 2 points that are also a little bit further away, so they are potentially dependent on some process behind that in the time frame. That's what we have there. So how do we have to interpret these? I have here expressed the ball with its points of reference at the right spot. So what do we have? The B, it starts from the B, so it starts from the limit or the border, so it starts from the surface, a surface which potentially could be part of a process or a time process. So actually it's still physical. It's potentially something that could change or can change. Second letter is the A, which is basically a localization in space, my orientation in space, and it even has a physical presence. The last letter, the L, is back into that second region, so it is in the forming region, so it is also something which potentially can have an access to a time process. So it has potentially something that can change its shape, can move in time. So that's the ball, potentially. It's a perfect description if you know the pinpoint references, what they mean. And that's what is actually very easily understandable here. And this time frame, see, the hand is there as well. It can potentially reach towards the processes in time. And this ball on the surface can change shape, and the ball itself also can be moving to somewhere else. So that's all described in the just 3 letters as orientations, as localizations, as pinpointing localizations, echo-localizations, and in one of these 3 regions, and I describe it very well. Next word is lands. So let's take the letters and put them on the right spot, and then interpret them in the right order. The lands is like the English word the lands. You see there the knight with the lands. So you have that object. We know what object it is. And now let's see where it is localized. So it's localized in all the 3 regions. So they are all involved. So time is involved and context is involved to make a conclusion. So what is the lens? That it starts from a form outside its own center, physical center, which is also correct. You can see that, or you can pinpoint that there. And this is the outside one's own cell, but it is also its own physical center, a starting point, its own starting point, the A, that's the next letter, which then, as a physical object, in this case undeniable, will be used in time, because it's the N there in the second category. It will be used in time in this case, not potentially, it will be used in time. And that will be used in time towards what? Towards the region of context, which in the letter S, it is almost out of reach. It's as far as you can go. That's where you have, and it's hardly controllable, but we have some effect at the end sooner or later. That's a description from the lens. It's a description from where you use the lens for. Okay, now let's go down to balance, which is the combination of BAL and LANS with just one L then together. So let's go for the letters. Here we have the letters, they are the combined letters, and let's now combine the references and see what it means. We have first the ball, we have that already, so that's why I have it in two parts. You have the ball, that's the first thing, and then the lens on top. The lens is the arrow is there for the time frame, of course. What you can see there with the N, and let's see how I can interpret it. You can do it yourself as well if you know already the pinpoints what they mean. But I will do that now. I will describe it here for you. At least I have written it down for you. So the B is then the starting point, of course, elsewhere outside your center, which is then used as a center, as the next letter, which then has a shape that, of course, potentially can change in time, or that can be participating to a change in time. No, that doesn't say participating. It's just that there is something that potentially can change in time. That's what it means. Again, as a center point of attention, which then is used to take out as a moment in time, as the N is as something that is taken out in time or can be used in time. Here it is taken out as a moment in time, which then is at the edge of what we can see or even able to control. Just go through this sentence, which is the vague description a bit better. You can describe it even better yourself if you like, but it is describing the balance, not just the ball plus the lens, but it's this focus of ball, which on that focus of ball will have that focus of lens, which, and if you put them all together, even if you look at the drawing, you can see that you have a potential that it is it could easily go out of balance if you don't care very well, if you don't shape it with the L very well, if you don't care for it. The moment of N will decide if we can do that, if we can keep that balance of the whole word as well. Anyhow, I hope this example made it already a little bit more easy to use this pinpointing echo-localization method, which was just one of the methods that you can use. Why are there different methods? It's also like if you really paid attention to how I explained the three regions, and especially the last region of context. This context is a very depending tool in which it is depending on what kind of idea you use that you can use in a context. If you use a different idea, the whole balance, the whole description of what you have, just like you describe things in words, can get a completely different shape, a completely different frame in time and space. And that's why it's also related with dimensions. That's why these 9 dimensions, that's another order that I'm not going to explain because that's too complicated. 9 dimensions is also that possibility that we have a frame with ideas which can have completely different shape in space and time frames when we use a different concept, and that makes it a quite difficult concept as well. But as an idea, it has something simple as well. Everybody can understand if you use a different idea within a context, it can look different. For instance, if I describe something with colors, if I describe something with words, if I describe something geometrically, it will have different shapes, but the total kind of balance and the kind of way to describe it is the same in each of these regions and ways of describing. It's all about the same thing. And okay, but okay, not for now to explain those things, except when I have an idea that to make it a bit more simple to describe that. But anyhow, I hope this example of today was something that could help you to, as an example, how you could use that as well. When you understand this theory, you have to accept a little bit, a few references, and start to play with it once you're able to understand the very foundation behind that. Okay, thanks again for watching. There's a list with previous recorded videos at that short URL, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you didn't yet. Thanks again. Bye.